Thank you for listening to the International Leadership Podcast. My name is Joe Beauchamp, the host of the International Leadership Podcast and founder of Beauchamp Team Growth Solutions. Most leaders want to scale their businesses. The challenge is that you need to scale your own personal growth and leadership development in order to scale your business. You need to develop your own leadership as well as the leadership of the people underneath you. If you have a good team that's all moving in the same direction, helping to carry the load, you're going to be more successful at scaling your business. That's what Beauchamp Team Growth Solutions does. We train, we coach, we mentor, and we consult on business leadership strategy, leadership growth and development for leaders in the company in order to develop a good company culture, everyone's moving in the right direction, and to strategize your business for scaling. Give us a call at 631-770-7705 for a free initial consultation, or just email me at joe@beauchampteam.com. The contact information is right there on the screen, and I will respond to you and we'll be in touch. Thank you so much. Well, welcome back, everybody. This is the International Leadership Podcast. My name is Joe Beauchamp. I'm your host today. I'm also the founder of Beauchamp Team Growth Solutions. Today, we have a very special episode and a very special guest with us, Alesha Taylor from G2G Intelligence. G2G Intelligence does AI strategy, AI integration. You want some HI, human intelligence, with your AI, and definitely Alesha Taylor is the one for that. So Taylor, do us a favor and greet our audience, introduce yourself, say hello. We've got probably, hopefully, 190,000 people out there that are in the subscriber audience. So hopefully we'll get several thousand of them getting to meet you today.
All right. Hello, hello. My name is Alesha Taylor. Thank you so much, Joe, for that warm welcome. I am the founder and Chief Artificial Intelligence Officer here at G2G Intelligence. We specialize in organic intelligence. That's what Joe said, human intelligence. So we specialize in organic intelligence, helping business owners and small business owners and entrepreneurs figure out how to implement AI into their everyday workflows. We have education. We also have strategy sessions and actual implementation. So that's what we're all about. Super happy to be here. And
And you've got a free community that
yes.
you've built that people can join in to get free information, be connected with a community of other people that are interested in learning about AI.
Mhm.
Um,
AI is such a large industry right now. It's becoming such a task just to keep up with all of the tools. So
yeah,
I help people figure out where to start when it comes to artificial intelligence. Our community is all about teaching you step by step how to actually get real return on your investment when it comes to AI. And I think the most powerful thing that AI does is help people like me and you get our time back, which is the world's most valuable resource.
yeah. When we're out of time, we're out of time.
Yeah, it's the only thing that's non-refundable, non-transferable, non-renewable, non anything else. Once it's
Right.
gone, it's gone. Time is your
No, it's
most
not.
valuable resource. So once you when it comes to time, you have to make sure that you're maximizing it, right? You want to make sure that every moment matters, every minute, every second, every hour of every day adds up. And I want to make sure that people get more time to do the things that matter, whether that's being with their family or going out to eat or whatever it is. You deserve to have that time because this is your life. You only get one of them. So
Yeah, that's awesome. I appreciate that. Yeah, and you can see that that's a passion of yours, right? So we appreciate good business leaders that have passion to serve their client market. Um, so when we think about AI, I think most average people think AI is Chat GPT.
mhm.
And that's a large language model. It's, good for answering questions and I don't know, whatever else people generally use it for. But what else is out there? What should people really know about AI? There's just so many aspects to it. And I think most people are unaware of probably 90% of it or more.
So, like you mentioned, ChatGPT is one of many different large language models. There's Perplexity, there's Claude, there's Gemini, there's DeepSeek, there's Copilot. There's so many different large language models that people can be using. What I like to tell people is that each LLM has strengths, right? So, depending on the task that you're trying to get done, you have to figure out which model works best for that specific task. For me, I think Claude is really good when it comes to writing and coding. ChatGPT is my favorite for beginners because it's so conversational and it's so easy to prompt. And then Perplexity, I think, is really good when it comes to research and getting actual references from the internet because it does a lot better with live searching. So
Right.
it just depends on the task that you're trying to do. And because there's so many different things out there, a lot of times we don't even know where to start, right? So that's
Yeah.
what the community is about. It's about teaching you how to start, teaching you how to prompt, what is a prompt, and why you're getting mediocre results when you go to ChatGPT. Because, like you mentioned, a lot of people they're like, "Oh, ChatGPT, that's you're not even using half of what ChatGPT is capable of. You're not
Right.
scratching the surface of what it's possible." So, I help people figure out how to get a
Now,
real.
what about things like, go ahead. Sorry, there's a little
No,
delay.
no.
What about things like data analysis or client market analysis or business strengths and weaknesses? What would you use? What would you recommend? Is that something that we should be using some
A
form of AI to do?
I think that Claude does really well with data analytics. I think that it has a really good understanding or inference when it comes to breaking down data and giving realistic recommendations based on what it is that you're trying to get done. But when it comes to like a market analysis or market research, I might prefer Perplexity for something like that. However, you can use any of the tools, right? So you can use ChatGPT to do it. You can use Claude to do it, and you can use any of these LLMs typically to get the job done. But it's just like you would a human. I like to think of large language models as a council, right? You have a group of friends. Think about your group of friends as your council. You have your best friend that you tell all your secrets to, but then you have your other friend that's a doctor and they know what to do when you hurt your foot. Think about LLMs and AI in a sense to where you have to have multiple different ones for different use cases. So when we're talking data analytics, market research, you might want to use different tools for that because each tool has its different strengths. So yes,
Right.
AI can definitely help with those things, but I think that the skill that needs to be learned is prompting. That's the biggest skill because it's not about, oh, can AI do it? Of course it can. But how you speak to AI, understanding the language of the computer so that you can get the best results, that's what
Right.
actually drives the measurable impact.
Now, what about things like, coding? What should people know about, so now can your average person, write scripts or write things that actually perform?
Of course. So, with artificial intelligence, the barrier to entry when it comes to information has completely fallen. I like to say that your only limitation is your imagination, right? So, if you can think it, you can create it. Right now, you have one of the biggest advantages of our time because the digital world is so ingrained in what we do on an everyday basis. With artificial intelligence, you no longer have to hire a developer or coder or an engineer to do those things. You can actually just have casual conversation with a Claude or a Chat GPT or a Gemini in order to produce real results. A lot of people call it vibe coding, right? Vibe coding is a concept which just simply means that you have casual conversation using natural language in order to generate code. One of the best models for that, in my opinion, is Claude. I might sound a little biased because I keep throwing that one out there, but Anthropic Claude has a
Claude.
really awesome model for coding. I think it has a superior mode of intelligence or inference when it comes to generative AI, which is what we're talking about with large language models. Anything coding, I think Claude is just superior at, and that's a personal preference. You can do it pretty much on all of them, but some are
Now,
better.
what about like, let's say my business, I want to create an app for my business.
Hmm.
Would Claude be the go-to for that? And can I just create an app without knowing how to make apps or anything like that? Could I just ask it the questions, go through the process, and have this casual conversation with Claude? And next thing I know, I have the Beauchamp team app.
Yes, but
Thank you to our sponsor, MTL Telephones. That's mtltelephones.com. You want to give them a call at 631-823-7100. MTL Telephones provides voice over IP telephone services, most likely cheaper than the price that you're paying right now, and more options. For example, I use it for my telephone service, and I can answer my call from any device, my laptop, a tablet, my smartphone. or a phone system from anywhere in the world. I can answer it here, or my assistant can answer it halfway across the world. Voicemail messages get transcribed and sent to me as text messages, as well as I can send and receive text messages from that voice over IP. They also have an AI auto assistant so that 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, your phone can be answered by an AI assistant that you have trained. So once again, you want to give them a call, go visit their website at mtltelephones.com or call their number at 631-823-7100. Pick option 5 for sales. Give Mike a call. So thank you so much, MTL, for being our sponsor for this broadcast.
Yes, but if you wanted to build an app, I probably wouldn't recommend Claude. I would probably recommend something like a Replit because you're probably going to need a back-end user database and an administrative portal. And Claude will give you like a basic HTML code, right? So understanding code is a large part of it. But if you wanted like an MVP, Claude is probably best because you can have like a regular conversation going back and forth on a $20 a month subscription, and you'll be able to get an output that you can touch and feel and use from day one. So yes, Claude can do that. AI can do that, but there's other tools that can help you turn that vision into a reality, especially something like an application. You
Yeah.
can
So it sounds like you really need an expert human to go through this with, somebody maybe like you.
Yes, that's a big part of it. Otherwise, you just end up spending a lot of money having conversations that will get you nowhere. Because AI is also really expensive, and trying different tools can be very expensive, right? So not
Yeah.
knowing which direction to go in is a big shortcoming for a lot of business owners. They end up spending a lot of money just throwing at different tools and API keys, just trying to figure it out. And what I'm trying to do is help prevent people from wasting money on AI and then coming back to you later and saying, AI
Yeah.
sucks, it doesn't work, it's AI slop. And it's because they failed to prompt correctly. They failed to understand what it is that they were trying to get done. And they failed to use the right tool to get to where they were trying to go.
Right. So writing an app, you would recommend which platform?
Replit is really good for
Replit?
non-coders. Replit,
Okay.
Replit, Replit. It's really good for non-coders. It also builds out your back end. It'll build the front and the back end for you. Google also has a pretty good code generator through, I think it's Google Labs. Google Labs, you can use like Google Stitch, and then there's a few different tools within Google Labs, and I highly recommend that we check that out because a lot of people don't even know about Google Labs.
I did not know about Google Labs, and I pay Google for Google Workspace, so I don't know if that's related or what, but
I mean, I think with the Google Workspace subscription, you get more access to like Gemini Notebook and some of their other tools. But Google Labs is definitely a game changer. They have like Flow. They have one of the best video generation models. If that's something that you're into, they have VO3 is their video generation model, and then they also have Nano Banana Pro, which is their image generation model, which is also phenomenal. So 10 out of 10 recommend checking out Google for certain things. I think they also have a better design feature, but that's personal preference.
it's your inside scoop.
Yeah, it's a personal preference, right? Because when it comes to aesthetics and design, that's based on your taste.
Yeah,
So I think that Google has pretty solid taste, and that's just a personal
it's
preference.
your personal preference. Okay, how about I hear ads about these applications, these AI applications that can read your email, respond, I guess, I don't know, get rid of your spam, answer back general things. I don't know, whatever it does, but what would you recommend for reading email to save time?
So you can actually connect any of the LLMs if they have native integration to your email. So whether you're on Microsoft, Gmail, I don't know what other email providers people still use. I don't know if you guys still have yet, like
Probably
Yahoo, things like that.
90% of the
Being,
population
I don't
uses either Gmail or Outlook.
or Outlook, one of those two. So they have native integration built in. So what you would do is go to like ChatGPT. You're going to go to your settings and you're just going to connect your email, which will then give it access. So whenever you connect something to your LLM, it's pretty much giving it access to it, building like a bridge. Think of it as like a two-way communication tunnel so that information can be exchanged between those two platforms. So if you want ChatGPT or Claude or any of your large language models to have access, you just have to connect it so that it can then see those things and help you out. So yes, it can totally do that. And there's a number of different ways to do it, but it then poses a different question: security, right?
Right.
Because we have to understand that these are public AI tools, right? They're publicly available. So if you're in a secure industry, whether it's financial or insurance or anything, honestly, regulated by FINRA or the SEC, you have to be really careful with connecting these public AI tools to your personal email, right? So there's a few
Right.
workarounds that I've created in order to help people streamline those processes, but just being very careful when it comes to public AI and private information. I always recommend that security and governance is at the forefront of understanding when it
Now uses what's the AI
co-pilot.
tool? Copilot, right?
Mhm.
So would it make sense to use Copilot to check your email
That's it.
if your email's through Outlook?
Yes, I always recommend using whatever the native integration is because it already has access to your data. So you don't want to overshare, right?
Right.
I'm still having conversations with a lot of people telling them, hey, you probably shouldn't put all of your financial information into artificial intelligence. If you wouldn't go onto a website and give it your date of birth, first name, last name, social, email address. You probably shouldn't give that to a chatbot either.
Chatbot, yeah. It's
So
kind of crazy. I don't know if you remember the times when people used to be like, "Hey, this is a really cool, a cool exercise. Answer these questions." And question one's like, "What elementary school are you in? Or did you go to? What was your first grade teacher? What's your favorite restaurant?" And basically, it's all the security questions that you would normally answer.
yeah.
And people are like, people just sharing that on Facebook. This is back probably, 10 or 20 years ago. But that was the thing. And people had to be like, well, wait a second, why am I giving you all my personal information, uh, in this cool, let's share about each other's life experience kind of thing.
So I always like to tell people like security is your main concern. That's on you as the user because AI is just a mirror. It's going to amplify whatever you give it. So
Yeah.
I want people to understand that security and protecting their PII or their personally identifiable information is on you as the user, right? Don't blame AI that your entire bank record got leaked. You're the one that put it on there.
Yeah.
Another great thing that I like to remind people is to turn off improve the model on a lot of these large language models. They have the option in settings, data, I think it's under security or data and privacy. You want to just flip that little toggle that says improve the model and turn that off because it's essentially letting the model know that you want your information to remain private. Whereas
Right.
if you use that toggle and keep that thing on, imagine telling AI a very dark, deep, sentimental story about you and your wife or you and a friend. And then somebody like me goes right behind you and says, give me a really heartfelt story. And AI is going to feed me your story because you've already trained it on that data.
Right.
So when you're improving the model for everybody, you're training the model on your conversations.
Right.
So it's like talking in a room where you think that it's a secret or you're whispering and you're actually speaking into a hot mic.
It's a hot mic, yeah. And that's definitely happened before. I've seen people walk off stage and next thing you know, we're hearing their bathroom conversation.
Yeah, and they never intended for that to get out.
Right. Right. And so think that as we use ChatGPT and all these other LLMs, what are some other types of AI that aren't LLMs? I think when we think of AI, it says, oh, just use AI, and we think LLM, but there's other stuff out there. So what else is out there?
So we have generative AI, which most people are familiar with, right? But then we have other forms of artificial intelligence. But I think what people really need to understand before we start talking about all of the different forms of AI and AGI and all of the fun things that we're talking about is how to make it work for them, right? And that's when we get into things like automation. That's the fun stuff. And agents, automations and AI agents. So when you're going into ChatGPT and you're having a conversation one on one, that's you manually putting in a prompt. An agent gives the AI the ability to act without you, right? So it's just going to do the task without you having to remind it, without you having to intervene or interject. It's giving the reins over to the artificial intelligence to actually just get the job done. So agents are the next step when it comes from large language models and generative AI. I think the next realistic step for a lot of people is moving into the agent workspace where you have the ability to have
Okay.
AI do things for you where you just kind of like babysit it versus actually you having to be the one that keeps saying, pushing the button to say, yes, do this, yes, 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 do this, do this, do this, or
Right.
giving it the direction, pretty much giving it the brains. And I think a lot of people need to practice understanding generative AI before we get into the agent mode and the automations. But I love to be able to show people how that can actually work for them in their business, because that's when you really start talking about ROI and getting
Do
time back.
your basic, like everybody knows ChatGPT,
Mhm.
Perplexity, Claude, probably those are the biggest ones, and then uh, Copilot and Gemini, right? So, we know the basic, I guess the top five, right? Do all of those have agents?
Yes, they all have agents or agent modes or even scheduled tasks that you can use in order to get the most out of the LLM. One of the scheduled tasks that I always recommend people using is like a daily executive briefing. I think that having AI just take a look at your emails, figuring out what needs your attention, what follow-ups need to be made, what outreach you can do, what content you should post, those type of things can help you go from zero to starting point, right? You wake up every morning and you're restarting your day over and over again. And there's certain
Mhm.
tasks that are repetitive in business. We have
Right.
to do the same things over and over and over again in order to get our results. So repetition creates system. So with AI, you can have it do those repetitious processes so that you can focus on doing things that actually move the
Mhm.
needle. You're still the one that's making all the decisions. You're still leading the ship. But artificial intelligence gives you the equipment to actually stop starting from zero
Right.
every single day. And a lot of us are starting from ground zero every day. We have to open up our LinkedIn, our Facebooks, our Instagrams, our YouTubes, our emails, and we have to check all of these different platforms because we're living in this digital age where we have so much going on all at once, all the time. What AI can do is help consolidate the noise, right? There's so much going on all the time. AI can help you consolidate that into bite sized chunks so that you know what actually deserves your focus, what actually deserves your time. And once we start protecting our most valuable resource, which is time,
Fine.
then understand the power that artificial intelligence gives us. It gives us the ability to do the things that matter to us. It gives us our
Yeah.
freedom back.
Gives us theoretically, yeah. That's what we always say. Every new technology, this is going to give us our freedom back, give us our time back, and then we find a way to
To
waste
make it
time again.
hard. Well,
But let's go down that road. What would be what would be your favorite task to help somebody overcome it? You would think, hey, this would really help people out a lot, and it's right up your alley of expertise. What kind of thing do you find easiest and most helpful to help your clients to figure out how to do using some form of AI?
so I have the ability to create like one of the things that I think is most important for any business is their customer base. And being that customers require 24 hours a day, 7 days a week attention, whether they reach out to you at 2 o'clock in the morning or 11 p.m., they're expecting a response. And
Yeah,
what AI does is it doesn't sleep. So it has the ability to respond while you're sleeping. While we're having this conversation, I might get 3 or 4 messages. My AI assistant is going to take care of responding to those leads, following up with those clients, getting them booked for appointments without me having to be involved. And I'm sure you can be a testament to that. You've actually spoken to
yeah.
my assistants.
Yeah, I had a whole conversation with your AI assistant. I was driving, you were driving, but you were focusing on driving, and I was focusing on talking to your AI or texting. Welcome to America's virtual Chamber of Commerce and Industry. My name is Joe Beauchamp. I'm one of the founding members here. I'm also the chair of the leadership committee. I'm here to help leaders develop strategies. My company is Beauchamp Team Growth Solutions. We help business owners and business leaders to develop their leadership skills, the leadership skills of their team. We know that better leaders get better results, and we provide that leadership strategy, training, and education for business leaders to run their companies better. Hope you can join us at the America's Virtual Chamber of Commerce. I look forward to
Best
seeing you soon.
ways for people to get that time back, right? Because when we're talking about actual ROI, being able to focus on the things that matter, like driving, having dinner with your family, or having a real one-on-one conversation, I can actually just focus on being in the moment,
Right.
right? When it comes to time, I don't think that people understand that the only point of leverage that you have in time is now. There's no other time but now. The
Right.
what happened an hour ago is in the past, and what happens an hour from now is in the present, is in the future. So the only point of leverage that you have to make an impact is now. So you have
Right
to be
now.
present in the moment, right? So that
Right.
you can get the results that you want. What AI does is gives you the ability to be fully present because you don't have to worry about your business burning down. A lot of us wear so many different hats, right? Every time the phone rings, we're running to the phone. I don't want to be a slave to the phone. I don't want to be a
Right.
slave to a customer information, but we know that our customer does deserve that relationship. They do deserve that conversation with us. So having an AI assistant is what changed the game for me because I'm able to be in so many different places all at once and nothing ever slips through the cracks. So I'm able to follow up with my leads, book my appointments. Even my phone has an AI assistant that's embedded into it. So if you call while I'm busy, my assistant will pick it up, get the message, get your information, follow up with you, or answer any questions if that's what you're looking for. Whatever it is, it can actually do the job so that I don't have to physically be there.
Wow.
To think that you take your organic intelligence and you give it to artificial intelligence so that you can multiply yourself.
Yeah, and truly do that. I mean, because we think about doing that in the workplace. People, we want to delegate to somebody else, but in order to delegate to somebody, we've got to find somebody that has a matching set of core values that we have. We need to find somebody that has a skill set and a competency to do the job, and to think like us. And then we need to train them with with all the things that we want them to know, and also at the same time give them access to our calendar, our emails, and whatever other kind of stuff.
Mhm.
And then we're subject to good days and bad days, and oh, I forgot, and I was busy,
Exactly.
used the bathroom. I was off. I was on vacation. Whatever kind of thing happened, I was answering another phone call at that time. Whereas AI, you don't need that. You just, once I give it the download of all my, valuable information, which I would imagine I would really kind of need somebody like you to guide what that process looks like. So I do it right the first time and not waste time on it. So I'm guided through giving all my valuable information that I want uh, my customers to have access to, give it to my AI, and then it's there. And then AI is going to answer the questions. I guess I monitor that over the course of time, right? To make sure that it's
Of
actually answering
course.
the way I want it to.
Of course. And the benefit of having an AI employee, which is, the difference between a human employee versus an artificially intelligent employee is there's no breaks, right? You might need to have multiple different attendants because if somebody goes to the bathroom, somebody only works 5 days a week. What about the other 2 days? Your business is always open
Right.
despite your hours of operation. Your business is always open to the consumer because they're looking for you at 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock,
Right.
whatever it is. So with AI, with having an AI employee, they're only going to be they're only going to be making those mistakes once, right? With a human employee, you might have to be repetitive. You might have to train them over and over and over again. And then there's that learning curve about how you do your business, how you do your operations, and then it's retention of being able to retain that employee. With an AI employee, those factors are no longer relevant. Your
Right.
AI employee is always on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They're relatively consistent. No matter what time you call them, they're not going to have a bad day because
Right.
every day is just today.
Right. Right. Right.
And the mistakes that are made will only happen once because with AI, once you correct the mistake, it doesn't make the same mistakes 2 times, which I think is
Right.
really important. And then it can take quantity. So it gives you the ability to scale. When there's one human receptionist, they're on the phone. What happens when there's somebody that walks into the business? What happens if someone else calls the phone? This one person can only deal with one thing at a time.
Right.
What I'm learning is that a lot of service-based businesses and businesses in general are spread really thin when it comes to their personnel.
All right. Of course.
AI employee helps quantify their workforce. It's not a replacement to that intelligence or the staffing that they have. It's an amplifier because it frees those people up to do things that actually matter, move the needle, and actually help scale the business. The
Right.
things that we're doing on the screens, that's not really what's actually moving the needle. What's moving the needle is the human work.
Right.
We need to refocus our energy on doing that human work and allowing the busy work to go to the robots. Let the robots handle the busy work. A lot of people think like when you call larger corporations, you're expecting to hear a robot. You're expecting to get an answer almost urgently, an automated message or something.
Right.
With AI employee, not only are people able to get the answers that they want, they're able to get reliable answers. And they're so much better than those automated press one, press two, that the voice, a lot of people confuse an AI employee with voice IP. And those are two different things. Those are two different things. The whole press one for this, press two for that. That's not an AI employee. An AI employee can handle full sentences
Right.
and speak in a conversational tone. You've experienced the AI employee before. If you messaged her and said, "Hey, how's it going today?" She's going to respond and say, "Today's great. How are you?"
Yeah.
And that's not voice IP. That's personality. That's embedded into the employee. That's being able to simulate human interaction. And that's what artificial intelligent employees are doing right now. So that's something that a lot of business owners are going to need to catch if they want to be able to compete in the coming years, because it's not going
Right.
anywhere. It's only getting better. The worst that AI has ever been was 30 seconds ago, and it actually just got smarter.
That's good. And that's a little scary at the same time. But yeah, let's take that. Let's stay on the good side of that. Um, Now, what about marketing? What do you think is, how could businesses, so I'm going to say there's two parts of business, right? So part A of business is getting really good. Like your customer experience has got to be a great customer experience involving your quality, your value, your price, how easy it is to get a hold of you, all the other stuff. So we want to create a really good company with really good people, really good values, valuing our customers, valuing our suppliers, valuing our team members. So you create a really good company. And then the
Mhm.
other side of it is marketing, right? That company needs to get known by the outside world. Otherwise, all that great stuff that you created is the best kept secret.
Yeah,
You got
visibility
two
is a
prongs.
big deal. Visibility is huge.
Thank you for listening to the International Leadership Podcast. My name is Joe Beauchamp, the host of the International Leadership Podcast and founder of Beauchamp Team Growth Solutions. Most leaders want to scale their businesses. The challenge is that you need to scale your own personal growth and leadership development in order to scale your business. You need to develop your own leadership as well as the leadership of the people underneath you. If you have a good team that's all moving in the same direction, helping to carry the load, you're going to be more successful at scaling your business. That's what Beauchamp Team Growth Solutions does. We train, we coach, we mentor, and we consult on business leadership strategy, leadership growth and development for leaders in the company in order to develop a good company culture, everyone's moving in the right direction, and to strategize your business for scaling. Give us a call at 631 770 7705 for a free initial consultation, or just email me at joe@beauchampteam.com. The contact information is right there on the screen, and I will respond to you and we'll be in touch. Thank you so much.
Big deal. Visibility is huge.
Yeah.
But
So let's take a look at the marketing side of it. What could we use AI for in order to get our company known?
so you can actually have AI create your entire content plan. It can spit out a 30-day content calendar in 2 seconds. It's really incredible when it comes to marketing and creating content, whether that's written content or visual content. You can even develop videos if that's what you want to do when it comes to connecting to your audience. Another great thing that AI is good for is just scheduling posts after you've generated 30 days worth of content. Now I'm no longer going to be held responsible to make sure that the post is uploaded at 8 a.m. or 10 a.m. or whatever time I've wanted that post to come out.
Hmm.
So AI is really good at not just creating a plan for content, but also creating plans for conversion, right? And then creating large amounts of content. So it might take me realistically 10 hours to think about all of the content that I would want to post for a month. Maybe 10 hours out of my week I might spend just creating content, filming content, editing content, taking pictures, taking whatever expertise I have that I want to share with the world. Well, it's going to take AI 30 seconds. So
Mm.
that gives me so much time back. And right now we're living in such a digital age. People look for your business online, and businesses that
Right.
aren't online are not thriving or surviving. This is a big part of it. So understanding the power of leveraging content, right? Everywhere doing everything. So you have to be on so many different platforms, so many different spaces, using your own brain power and wasting so much to generate this is no longer necessary. I think that what AI does is not that it replaces your own human insight, because it gives you a start. 10 hours dreaming up this content, I can spend 30 seconds sharing what I would like to create. AI will help me put it all together in a way that's fluid, and then I can improve it and edit it. I like to share with you like my time method when it comes to prompting. Time is an acronym. The T stands for the task that you want to get done. In this case, it'll be the content. And then
Right.
the I is the information, the info that you want to share with the artificial intelligence, the backstory, the niche things about you, your business, your idea, your concept, the method in which you want the deliverable, whether that's 30 days worth of content or whatever it is. Edit. Because a lot of people are just taking what AI gives them and saying, oh, good enough. And then they're posting it. And that's why
Right.
you have so AI is the most important. You have to go back.
Edit.
You work with it. It's an assistant. It's called Chat GPT, which means that you're supposed to chat with it. It's a back and forth conversation, is a
Right.
two-way.
That's a good call.
Yeah. So you want to chat with these chatbots, because that's what a lot of the large language models are. They're just chatbots.
Right.
So you have to be willing to go back and forth. It's a give and a take. It's not, oh, this sucks. No, it sucks. Now improve it.
Right.
Let's get better. Let's work on this. But it's now a starting point, not the ending point. So
Yeah.
instead of wasting all of your time dreaming up the content, you can now create the content, schedule the content, and then have it post automatically while you're focusing on doing the things that matter, getting that
Right.
time back for what matters most.
So one of the things I do, and hopefully you say this is good. Maybe give me some tips on what to do better. But I'll ask it. Let's say I want to create a post or write an email. Excuse me. I might ask it to tell me what are the most important components to make this email effective in communicating my idea across the audience, or this post, whatever it is. I'll ask it to break it down step by step, and then I'll tell it, okay, go step by step and ask me questions one at a time, and I'll answer those questions. And when we get through all those pieces, then put it together. And often that's the way that I'll get a good post or a good email or a website page or whatever kind of content. I literally just tell it to ask me. And then the nice thing is I can just write however I feel. I'm not trying to edit anything. I'm not trying to say it all in a real eloquent way or make it flow or whatever. AI does that. I just throw out the answers, uh, however I feel like typing them in. I just type them in, and or some people can talk to it. I don't generally talk to my
You're
computer
missing out.
yet.
You're
Not
missing
now.
out.
So, but I answer and then it puts it together and I go, okay, that's pretty good. Let me tweak that. And then I just make it my own. I just sit there and like I said, like you said, I'm not starting from zero. If I had to start from zero, it would take me hours because I'd be stringing one sentence, one sentence, one sentence. This, I'm like, ask me a bunch of questions. I answer the questions. It puts it together, and then I say what I like, what I don't like, what sounds like me, what doesn't sound like me, and I modify it. It usually sounds mostly like me because I wrote it. I gave it the information.
Yep.
Um,
So,
so
so what you just mentioned was something I like to call interview style prompting, right? So that's when you give the AI the opportunity to go back and forth with you, and you can provide it more context, because a lot of us don't really know what we want. That's what the problem is. We have issues with articulating what it is that we want. We expect AI to be like a mind reader, like it can go into your brain, take out all of your knowledge and expertise, and translate that into the content that you're looking to create. And
right,
that's not really how it works. But a great way to do that is what you just mentioned, which is interview style prompting. Ask me a few questions before we get started. Make sure that we're on the same page. I like to say it like that, like, oh, ask me a few questions to make sure that we're on the same page, because I look at my AI chatbot as my assistant, right? So we're
Right.
co-workers, we're working together, we're in partnership. So I want to
Yeah.
make sure that we're on the same page, we're on the same team, we're shooting for the same goal. So that's a great way of prompting in order to get better results. I love that.
Thank you. Yeah. And I think making it do the research, like I'll ask it for like research-based strategies. What do reliable sources say are the proper components to put into, like I said, email or a post or blog or website or whatever, like, and then once it has some kind of reputable source to say, okay, it should have, or you need some data, you need whatever pieces, then I go through that process, as opposed to just randomly creating stuff. One time I had a client and we're trying to figure out a mission statement. So I'm like, yeah, give me a mission statement for this customer. I threw a bunch of information into the prompt. It gave me this page long mission statement. I'm like, that doesn't sound right. Like a mission statement shouldn't be a page long. So I said, what's the ideal length of a mission statement? It's like one or two sentences. I'm like, well, why did you give me this page long mission statement if you know that the ideal mission statement is one or two sentences? So I said, okay, so let's go back. What's the proper length of an effective mission statement? What should it have in it? What should it be like? What are all the components that you need to have in there? What does the research say? What does the data say? Okay, now based on that, here's what I'm dealing with. Put it into a good mission statement. And then I was able to come up with something decent, some decent options.
So what was missing there was proper context in your prompt. You have to realize that AI is pulling from hundreds of thousands of millions of different resources. It has all of the information that's readily available on the internet, and it's pulling from all of those different books and all of those subject matters. So you want to give it blinders, right? You want to create
Yeah.
like an AI harness where it knows exactly what to focus on. So by giving it like a role or a task, right? It forces the AI to ignore everything that it knows about everything else and focus on the information that is most relevant to the goal that you're trying to set. I like to think about it like this. Like, if you're going to go to AI to get marketing advice, then you should say, you are a master marketer, right? You start off the prompt by saying, you are a marketing professional. You are, give it the task that you want it to do, or the title, right? The title,
Right.
the job, the role, the hat that you want it to wear, so that it knows exactly what it is that you're trying to um, get done from it, or what its objective is, because it's just going to spit out a mission statement, but a mission statement can be a number of different things depending on what you're actually writing it for. Maybe it's accustomed to writing mission statements for something different, right? Maybe a mission statement in the context that you're referring to might mean a thesis statement for some reason. I don't know. It might be looking at it differently because you didn't provide enough context to what the mission was.
Right.
So you have to understand that AI is going to take you literally every time. So you want to be as um, brain dumped as possible. So when you mention that you just write everything and you let it figure it out, that's why I recommend using the dictate feature, because it's a lot easier to hit the microphone and just speak your thoughts. It can be a page long, a 2 minutes, just brain dump, where you
Mhm.
allow it the opportunity to sort through that information and figure out what it is that you're actually trying to get done. That's another really good way of making AI do the work for you and organize those thoughts. But when you're not succinct in your prompts, you're going to get answers like that. A fun exercise is going into AI and asking it how many R's are in strawberry. That's always fun. Like it'll say 1 R, and you're like, how can you get something like that wrong? It's because you're not asking the question in a way that the AI understands. Okay, so you have to make sure that you're communicating with it in a language that it understands. It, and the language that LLMs use is prompting. That's the language that it understands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. I don't know if it was real or not, but somebody asked, supposedly on this little video, supposedly asked ChatGPT, what does the S stand for in ChatGPT? And ChatGPT continues to answer the question. All of us know that there is no S in ChatGPT. And it took a while for, this back and forth conversation for ChatGPT to say that there is no S ChatGPT. So anyway, what else do we need to know? Like what should we watch out for? You said some security, obviously security issues. We don't want to put all our personal information in there. But what do we need to know about AI so we're not going down the wrong pathway? What should we watch out for?
I think that what people should be watching out for when it comes to AI is this. I think a lot of people are getting really excited about AI right now. And I think that we have to just be mindful that it's still a public platform, it's still a public tool. So we have to be careful with the information that we're actually putting into the public platform. Security is always something that I stress to my clients because AI is expanding a lot faster than the guardrails can be placed on it.
Yeah.
So we're actually building the box for AI, and each time we do that, they just release another model that broke that box.
Right.
So it's going to continue to grow and expand. But one of the largest things that I think that we need to look out for is not using it to replace our judgment, but using it to amplify ourselves. Some people are using AI as a crutch, and it's not a crutch. It's a tool, right?
Right.
Just like any other tool, you have to be willing to wield it appropriately. I had a conversation with my stepson the other day, and he was like, "Oh, did you do that, or did AI do it?" And I responded, and I said, "Okay, so when you take a picture, did you take the picture, or did the camera take the picture?"
Interesting. Interesting concept. Yeah. You use the tool.
Like it's a tool, and understanding that it's not a supplement for your own creativity or your own creative expression. It's an amplifier because it takes you from concept or idea or thought to execution, and
Right.
that's the biggest opportunity when it comes to AI. That's the advantage, right? You're able to take things from conceptual to applicable in seconds. And that's never been done before in the history of our entire civilization. Like being
Mhm.
able to just think something and make it a reality as quickly as we can now, never happened before. So
Yeah.
when it comes to what we need to look out for, I think that we need to look out for personal information, right? We have to be mindful that this is still a public platform. You wouldn't put these things on social media, so you probably shouldn't put them into a chatbot. Um,
Right.
and then the other thing that I would recommend looking out for is your own judgment, always editing materials that are put out by AI because it can make mistakes, right?
Yeah.
It's
Absolutely.
designed to be a people pleaser. That's what it's there for. So
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you that you're awesome, you're smart, you're brilliant, and it does hallucinate and it
Yeah.
does have its downfalls when it comes to understanding people on a more literal sense. Everything that you say to AI, it takes literally. So, hey, is there an S in Chat GPT? Yes, there's an S, and this is that's it. People pleasing and just agreeing with whatever you say. So
Yeah.
being able to understand the benefit of a primary resource is something that I think that we need to look out for because the next generation will have no idea what a primary resource is. Do you remember that from back in school?
Oh yeah. 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 No, I definitely, I definitely am around. I've been around.
So that's another thing that I think that we have to be on the lookout for because AI is going to eliminate the primary resource. We already see that happening today when you go to Google and you type in something and they give you the AI overview. You have no idea where that overview was pulled from, right? There's
Right.
no primary resources. So those are some of the things that I concern myself with. But I believe that there's more good and bad, and knowledge is power, and AI is just an expansion of our own knowledge base because that
Yeah.
it's built on us. It's built on our organic intelligence.
Right. So two things that come to mind. One is that, the AI is going to go out into the world and scoop up a bunch of stuff that's out there, and you're going to get the somewhat to a degree, like the average of whatever's out there. You're going to get some scoop of good and bad, wisdom, foolishness, all
Yeah.
kind of, because the internet's just like, it's just a bunch of information out there, right? So, and the other thing is, 50% of businesses are going to be out of business in 5 years. Historically, we just know that businesses crash. Like 50% of businesses don't survive past the 5 year mark. And we're not talking about, for good reasons. We're talking about that they didn't make it, which means that the information that they were using is the information that's out there, right? So if I'm just going to ask AI to go scoop up some random information in the world, how do I know that that's not the information that those 50% of business, it's not like it's 10%, it's half. It's like a coin toss, right? My business survived, thankfully my business survived more than 5 years already. But for a business to survive more than 5 years, it's like a flip of a coin, 50-50. Like it's a good chance you're not going to make it, which means that all the information that they had, that they went off of, that they used, their advice, their wisdom, their guidance, whatever they wrote, whatever they did, their strategies, all their other stuff failed. So 50% of the stuff out there could theoretically be useless, you know, doomed to fail. And we don't know that.
Bingo.
Right.
Now you're understanding the power of your own judgment.
Right.
Organic intelligence still supersedes artificial intelligence every single day.
Yeah.
It's the
And I,
starting point. It's not the ending.
right.
So yes, you're right. Some of the information, half of it is good, half of it is bad, but you have to be able to be the determining voice in what road you take with
Yeah.
it. It's just a tool.
All the more reason why I emphasize it's more so now than ever is it important for people to build their own knowledge, their own experience, their own wisdom, their own yeah, their own knowledge base, right? You can't rely on AI. You have to rely on your own brain, your own common sense, your own ability to evaluate,
Your own judgment.
evaluative
Yeah.
thought, critical thinking. Those are, creative thinking. Those are types of thinking that we can't lose, right? So the other thing with AI, it's we call it creative to a degree, but it's really just giving you something that somebody else like I've put stuff in them like that's an amazing idea, and then I go search for other people. I'm like, yeah, five other people have already used the same, the same wording, same everything, because AI
Yeah.
just went out in the world and just brought something back to me that somebody else created, right? So creative thinking, evaluative thinking, critical thinking, these are all skills that we need to develop in ourselves to be able to make sure that we know, oh, that's incorrect, right? I threw something, I was, having this thought experiment a couple of weeks ago, and I started asking AI questions about different things, and it said, this is only 25% efficiency, so therefore the number is this. And I'm like, wait a second, you did the math wrong. You did that backwards. It's you multiplied it by four instead of dividing it by four. And if I didn't have the ability to just for my gut to say that doesn't sound right, that sounds like you went the wrong direction,
Hmm.
I wouldn't have questioned it. I would have just multiplied the answer by four, which was 16 times off of what I needed, because it knew, like, I didn't know that the system was operating at 25% efficiency, but I
Hmm.
knew that once it was operating 25% efficiency, what the answer, like which direction the answer should go. And it was just interesting that AI was like, it's, whatever big number. And I'm like, nope, it's
Not.
1/16. Not the-
It's actually, no, that's not
yeah.
right.
So,
Yeah.
and of course you tell it and then it answers you and it says, oh, you're right, whatever,
Yeah.
right? So,
But
um,
so I've seen that many, many times. If you've ever tried to use it for if you've ever gotten the wrong answer with AI, that means that you're actually pushing the boundaries of it. I purposely go in there trying to break things. So that's half of what I do. I go in there and I try to figure out what we can break, what silly questions we can ask to trip it up, because it does get tripped up. And the reason why it does that is because they're really just answering the question incredibly literally, right?
yeah,
So if you read back on the prompt, it did exactly what you asked it for. And that's the issue. It's taking you so literally. It doesn't understand the nuance of human expression, slang, or ebonics, or just any kind of speech based on where you are. Like even us here in New York, we have certain terms that if you go, I don't know, California, they're going to look at you and say, hey, we don't say that here. That's not what
right,
we say. And AI doesn't understand that kind of a nuance, right?
right,
Because the way that you speak and say things and the way that I speak and say things, it's just going to take it word for word, step for step, incredibly literally. And it goes back to prompting, right? So when you get those wrong answers, you have to figure out what was wrong with that prompt, because it's probably either a really short prompt or a really just random answer this question for me, right? Answer the question, but it did it wrong. And you have to be willing and able to go back, edit, and refine that answer. And you're right. Critical thinking is one of the biggest things that we have over AI, because it just
right.
doesn't do critical
Let's do
thinking.
it.
It's a
Yeah.
it's a people
It's
pleaser.
not, it doesn't really, well, yeah. So two more things from there. So one is AI doesn't actually know anything. It just takes your prompt, breaks it down into some kind of algorithm, throws it through its algorithm and scoops up, you know, words that match and
Yes,
brings it back to you. So
that's what
that's
it
one
is.
thing.
Yeah, it's a generative model. So it literally just takes all of the information and predicts what the next word should be based on what you fed it. That's all it is. It's
Right.
a prediction-based model.
Yeah. So if I use a word and in my head I know that that word means one thing and you use that word and in your head it means a different thing, AI just gives that word a number or whatever code for the algorithm and it just finds that information and brings it back. That's it.
Yep.
So the
Yeah.
other thing is that AI is a people pleaser, which you said a couple of times, and the interesting thing is I've heard so many people say, "Oh yeah, AI is just trying to please you." So you have to tell AI to not give you a BS answer, to give you the real truth answer. And I said, AI still lies to you. It just lies to you in a
Nice.
way that pleases somebody who wants a critical answer,
Hmm.
right? So if I say to AI, "Hey, how do I look in this suit?" It'll tell me I look fabulous. And if I say, "Well, no, give me a really true, honest opinion," it'll say, "Well, the suit's not the right color for your skin tone or whatever kind of thing," right? It's just going to give me. It's not neither answer is correct. It's
Yes.
just the answer that it thinks I want to hear based upon, oh no, give me a critical answer. Oh, it'll give me a critical answer. It may not be true.
So we underestimate the power of perception, right? One thing that we have as humans is we all have our own perception. AI doesn't have its own perception. So its lens is going to be skewed based on a mass variety of data. And just like people are good or bad and people have opinions, whether left or right, up or down, they they are not understanding that AI is just going to mirror them. So it's going to just tell you whatever it thinks you want to hear.
Yeah.
So you show up and you say, "Hey, look at my suit." And then you're like, "Oh, yeah, the suit's awesome." Because why would it tell you that you don't look awesome? You probably would never talk to it again. That wouldn't make
All
you
right.
feel very
I go
good.
use if that was ChatGPT that it hurt my feelings, I'm gonna go to Claude.
I'm gonna go to Claude.
Yeah.
A fun prompt that I tried the other day was like, "Be honest with me. What lies am I telling myself?" And that's a really, really fun prompt for you to try because you're gonna find out quite quickly that AI knows you a lot better than you thought.
That's true too.
It knows you a lot better than you thought, and then you get some insight from that, right? Just like you mentioned earlier, like the "be honest with me." Be honest with me just means that you're asking it to hurt your feelings. That's what you're telling AI based on its generative predictive model. It's like, "Oh yeah, well, you want me to say something that is not that nice, so we're gonna go not that."
Just be not nice. Yeah, that's all.
So that's a fun one. Another one that I did was roast me, hold nothing back. That was a fun one too. So playing with it is a lot of fun. I 10 out of 10 recommend. Gemini, she's a lot more mean. She was not nice to me at all. When I said roast me and hold nothing back, I almost deleted the app.
Particularly.
Yeah, she really critiqued me. I wasn't strong enough. I wasn't strong enough to take that hit. But ChatGPT was pretty nice. It was a fun roast. But again, you'll quickly realize that they're pretty vocal and each model has its own interpretation of things. So that's why I recommend trying different models for different use cases to figure out what works best for your goals and what you prefer. If you stick to one model, then you're closing yourself off to so many other opportunities and so many different levels of insight because perception matters. Just like you
Right.
would talk to several different people, your council of friends, I would say, and get opinions from each and every one of them because they have very different perspectives on the situation. Think about AI like that and use that same prompt over and over again and see what answers you get. Figure out which answer is the best. Sometimes it's not going to be ChatGPT. Sometimes Gemini has a better response or Claude or I don't know, Perplexity, just depending on what it is that you're trying to get done. So
Yeah.
understanding that kind of nuance definitely helps as well. Yeah, that's what I think.
Now, before we go, how can people contact you? So we're in the whole United States, 50 countries around the world. I'm sure you can help out pretty much anybody anywhere. How can people get in touch with you if they like, wow, I really like what she has to say. Let me join this community. Let me find out more about her website. Let me get in touch with her. Let me hire her to do my AI integration, AI marketing, whatever. So how do we get in touch with you?
So if you guys would like to get in touch with me, you can give me a call. I have a 24-hour day, 7 days a week AI assistant that is ready to answer any questions and tell you how you can actually use AI in your business. So you can dial me at 1-866-212-1629, and we're going to put the number on screen for you guys. So it's going to
Yep.
be 1-866-212-1629, and you can get a live demo from one of my AI agents and just ask it a few questions. Figure out how it can help you in your business. I'm also on LinkedIn and YouTube as well. My LinkedIn is going to be my first name, Alesha, last name Taylor, and you can find me at g2gintelligence.com. So there's plenty of different ways to reach me. And if you'd like to join our community, we have a link on our website. So hopefully you guys come and join us inside and ask all of your questions.
That's awesome. Looking forward to seeing that community grow and working together with you more in the future. And hopefully, we'll talk more about the the America's Virtual Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Get you involved with that as well. That's
Awesome.
one of the chambers. That's one of the opportunities available on the American Business Podcast, which the International Leadership Podcast, which we're on right now, is on that platform. And we're looking forward to growing that Chamber of Commerce to be, quite large, quite quickly. I'm looking forward to great things. And so it'd be great to have you part of that family as well. So any last words or any last thoughts you want to say to the audience before we sign off?
No.
Okay, so thank you so much for joining in, everybody. This is Joe Beauchamp. We are on the International Leadership Podcast. Again, our special guest today is Alesha Taylor from g2gintelligence.com. And if you want anything to know about AI, especially when it comes to saving yourself some time, your most precious resource, you want to go and talk to Taylor, or at least talk to her AI assistant, and get the ball rolling from there. Again, my name is Joe Beauchamp. My information will be on the screen as well. Joe@beauchampteam.com is my email address. 631-770-7705 is my phone number. We help business leaders to grow their leadership skills and their teams so that they can grow their companies. A little less headaches, a little better culture, more sales, greater growth. We unclog that leadership bottleneck. So give us a call. We're here to help you out. Again, this is episode 15 of the International Leadership Podcast, and we'll see you next week. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Well, that was a lot of fun. Thank you so much for watching our podcast of the International Leadership Podcast. Once again, my name is Joe Beauchamp, president and founder of Beauchamp Team Growth Solutions. That's beauchampteam.com. If you like this episode, please like it, share it, subscribe to this channel. If you're interested in being a guest or a sponsor of this program, please give me an email at info@beauchampteam.com. I'm more than happy to talk to you about it and discuss options and how it can work something out for everyone to win. Thank you so much. Looking forward to seeing you soon. Bye.